the next real crash. And what it will be a short period of deflation. It will be major price corrections. All this leverage in crypto and in the market will get carried out very quickly. And then it'll be the biggest round of quantitative easing anyone will have ever seen. And all of that will happen probably in under 6 months, maybe 3 months. But that initial shock is going to break the brains of now what feels like a majority of market participants. And quite frankly, I'm going to be here for it because I'm pretty sick of the shit that's been going on. And I've distanced myself from the market quite a bit. I stopped doing my podcasts because it drives me nuts, you know? So at some point that day will come and we can stop watching, you know, story stocks and nonsense and bullshit and fart coin and fucking shit stain coin and dickhead coin and all this stuff. We can stop watching all this stuff keep going up, and we're going to have an entire nation full of very confused people that are going to find out in short order that they're not as smart as they thought they were. And by the way, I'm not saying this to be a dick because I went through it too. Okay. I had this point in my life where I got humbled over and over and over again. Every time I tried to trade a new asset, every time there was still something to learn about equity analysis. So I got my fucking dick punched in all the time. That's going to happen to a whole new generation of people. And, it doesn't matter what I say or when I predict it. The catalyst could be something completely innocuous. It could be some guy fucking eats a donut wrong in Belgium somewhere. Some guy gets the wrong receipt at a Walmart and notices that the decimal point's fucked up, brings it back to the cashier. Cashier goes to the assistant manager. Assistant manager goes to the general manager. General manager goes to the regional manager. Then they find an accounting entry that's wrong. All of a sudden, Walmart's got a $50 billion problem that destroys the entire global economy. It could be something like that. You never know. But it's going to happen at some point. As sure as the fucking free market and as sure as math has irrefutable laws, the same ones that you Bitcoiners, whack off to.
Yeah. They're nice. Those are the great laws.
And I'm not a full on, but I'll give it one stroke to that. But no, seriously, like the same irrefutable laws of mathematics and the natural laws of economics. All right. Milton Friedman, Thomas Sowell, fucking the book's called Basic Economics.
Yeah.
You can't rewrite them.
Yeah.
And you can't usurp them as much as you try. So like Ron Paul says, the free market's always going to win. And there will be a comeuppance for all of these people at some point. And, it's...
What do you think?
What was the question?
You nailed it. It was the effects of the tariffs on the markets.
Oh yeah.
And
So
what's coming
the
here.
point was that everyone's been so conditioned to be comfortable that when God forbid the president decides that he doesn't want to be in a trade deficit with every country all over the world, whether or not it's realistic or not, it's a noble cause.
Yeah.
And the market goes down, 3%, and, you have people puking into buckets on CNBC. It's just like, all right, well, what's going to happen when we move down 60% in 2 weeks and nothing can stop it?
You see that as a viable scenario?
I see it as more than a 0% chance, which is more than most of the cowards and dickheads in the financial media will tell you.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, look, as a crypto investor, you know how leverage works, right? Sure. And you know that there's certain pressure points that equities, crypto, anything, the price of wheat, you name it, there's certain pressure points that those things get to where the selling just becomes automatic.
Sure.
And with the passive bid, we'll talk about that downstairs a little bit. Just buying things regardless of valuation.
Yeah.
It really is going to take an astronomical move for us to move anywhere close to historical price to earnings ratios.
Yeah.
And, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope I'm wrong but with how conditioned people have been to assume that everything's going to be fine tomorrow, like the Liberation Day thing, it worked out in 2 weeks because, even Trump and Bissett said, hey, the bond market's a little fucked. Like, we need to do something. Even though that worked out, there's going to be a problem that Scott Bessent, President Trump, and Jerome Powell are not going to be able to fix. And when that happens, you're going to see some serious shit.
So, 2 out of those 3 are sort of, indicating that there is something of a solution, or at least something of a treatment to these problems in Bitcoin. What exactly that looks like for a strategic reserve or a stockpile. People are flooding into these treasuries. I also agree that, valuations are sort of out the window with these treasuries. Do you think that plays a role in, what's ultimately coming? Do you think that there is a real,
I think
what do we call it? With the divergence between Bitcoin and the markets? Is it a flight to safety? Do we get blamed for everything?
I think that the fact that you have an entire generation of people that understand monetary policy now is going to force the issue in a way that it wouldn't normally. And, inflation kind of became this political football in the last election.
MMT, one of the buckets that we're going to discuss.
And I wrote about it at that point, just saying, look, the people that normally wouldn't understand it are now wise to what inflation is. They go to the store, they're getting less cereal for more cash, and that pisses people off. And, if 1 out of every 10 people that are pissed say, let me investigate why this is happening, and 1 out of those 10, involves themselves with Bitcoin or crypto or gold or whatever, and they are forced to understand how monetary policy works, then you're going to have a very, honest to God, and this is one of the reasons that I have a faith in Bitcoin, because we're at this crazy fork in the road where it feels like, the fiscal picture in the US is fucked. It's beyond repair. We're trying to grow our way out of it. You can listen to Luke Groman or people that are much smarter than me try to explain it to you. But we're at this inflection point where something's going to happen. We're going to need to have a debt jubilee, or we're going to need to repeg the dollar to gold, or, we're out of control. The spend, this bill that just passed, the spending's out of control. It's not stopping. We have a Congress full of people that, on both sides of the aisle don't understand economics. They can't fucking walk and chew gum at the same time, let alone balance their checkbook. And so something big is going to need to happen. People say, the Mar-a-Lago Accord, or we're going to have the Plaza Accord, or we're going to have Bretton Woods, or we're going to have this, that. You got half the world now in BRICS that knows that the U.S. tries to weaponize the dollar and would take any chance they could to dethrone the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency. And you have, the dollar being printed into oblivion. And so, if ever there was a point in history, if ever there was a jumping off point in history where it was ripe to just cover your eyes, hold your nose, grab your nuts, and try to dive into something that could be completely earth-shattering like Bitcoin, I think this is the time to do it. And I don't need to be able to talk to you about fucking computer programming or ordinals or fucking any of that bullshit. I got an invite to Sailor's New Year's Eve party. I don't need to fucking go to those things. Please don't send me invitations. I don't care. I don't want to go to fucking Miami. I don't want to hang out with fucking the Winklevoss twins. No offense to you guys. Sorry. But it's not them. Great. It's not them. It's just I don't have anything to prove.
They're just saying fantastic. They're fun
great
to
dudes.
hang with.
They're great dudes. Listen.
We love them.
I'm just saying, look, all right. I take that back. I'm just saying, to me as an outside observer, it feels like a very peculiar point in history where a large change could be affected. And Bitcoin has never happened before, just like the internet had never happened before. Once it took hold, some dick on the internet is going to be well, the ARPANET, fuck you, all right? You know what I'm talking about. The internet had never happened before it started. And so yeah, whatever. I'll put some money in and just see what happens. I like rooting for the fucking tattooed freaks in nature. All you crazy motherfuckers.
Losers.
I love it. You're not losers. You guys are my crowd, man.
Yeah. They thought Rocky was a loser. I'll do another one to make you feel comfortable.
Let's do a quick fucking check, right? You're wearing Adidas fucking Sambas, which I wear. Yeah. You're wearing camo. I have a camo bag.
That's cool, right?
Yeah. You have a beard, which I have most of the time.
Yeah, beards rock.
You're super high in your convictions in Bitcoin and are anti the Fed, which I'm fucking dope with.
Yeah, I like that.
You run a dive bar, which is where I spent probably 80% of my life hanging out. So we're very, very similar. You got skateboards on the fucking wall here. This feels like a very safe place to be,